Alright guys, so today fitting out a new tool bag. It's going to go on the install trailer as a second bag. I use a similar Vito bag that's a little bit smaller for like everyday service. You saw that in the truck video. And then I keep a bigger pack out tool bag just as like overflow storage of hand tools. The reason I'm putting this together is typically when we do installs, we end up like an inside team and an outside team. And lo and behold, inevitably someone forgets a tool somewhere and you walk back and forth. So I'm figuring if I can make two tool bags roughly similar with the same tools we like to use, or I like to use, and go from there, it kind of helps speed up the process, make us more efficient. Now the smaller tool bags like this I've noticed are good for residential, but I actually used to use the Vito Pack MC, the little mini backpack. They're nice in a commercial application, like if you're going up on roofs and whatnot. But for residential, they're really just kind of overkill because you end up stuffing too much crap in there and it becomes heavier than it needs to be, honestly. So I'm going to jump right into it. Here's where I got my tools from. I'm split between Home Depot and Lowe's for going to get my tools. I love Pack Out, so I do gravitate towards Milwaukee. But for hand tools, I'll say recently, I think Klein's really given them a run for their money about, how well they work and just ease of use. So I figured to make this not so stagnant and kind of go with the flow, I'm just going to randomly pull the tools I got from each one out, and we'll go from there. I'll tell you what I like about them. I'll lay them on the table, and then at the end, I'll show you how I fit them all in this bag. But yeah, we'll get into it. For starters, though, I always seem to buy a bucket now. So by me, I don't know if it happens anywhere else, but you have to buy bags now when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and it's the paper bags, no handles. So, a bucket's like $3, $4. I'd rather just buy a bucket. I can fit more crap in it, and I don't have to worry about it ripping while I'm trying to carry it out to my truck in the parking lot. So without further ado, we'll hop into the tool selection. All right, now this isn't like an end-all be-all of a tool list. It's just kind of like the nitty-gritty down and dirty that I need to get things done, or the most used tools. Like I said, these smaller bags are not really set up for carrying a ton of tools, which is fine. You don't really need a ton of tools. To start, I'll go with something simple. So the keychain I got off Amazon, but I buy 3 of them so I can use the extra lanyards. These are nut driver kits from Klein. I don't really have a preference for them. I've never used them before. I normally use the Milwaukee ones. I just happened to be in Lowe's and they were there. But it's a kit that comes with what's the biggest one they come with? 1/2 inch? Yeah, 1/2 inch, 7/16, 3/8, 5/16 quarter. I've already thrown a Phillips bit on there. And to pair it, I'm going to pair with the little extension from Milwaukee. It's not their smallest one, but it's like I guess you'd call it a medium-size extension. But yeah, that's definitely a must-have. But yeah, those are the most common bits. I have one that's left open, and what I'll probably put on here is a T15 Torx bit. We tend to use GRK screws a lot when we're outside because it's got that waffle head to it, and kind of like a built-in washer, has a little bit more holding power. So I'll throw one of those on there when I get it. Let's see, we'll go hot stick, kind of a necessity. Milwaukee hot stick. The smaller bag, I could put a meter in there. I don't really see a reason to, because by the time we get this bag out, we've already verified power's off and whatnot. This is just check your surroundings, double check a little bit. So throw that there. Sticking with the Home Depot side, I got the Milwaukee reamer and rigid compact cutters. I typically use the rigid compact cutters like this. Don't really do anything fancy or special, but I like these because it's always kind of close quarter. You'll notice a theme. Like some tools aren't what they need to be. Like I have like a insulated screwdriver set and plier set from Lowe's I got from Klein. Do I really need to be insulated? No. But on the rare occasion I need it, it would just be nice to have because I can use insulated tools for non-insulated work, not vice versa. Less tools I have to carry. And that kind of goes the same for the compact cutter. This goes to 1 1/8 inch. So the nice thing about the compact cutters, is if you use the regular full-size cutter and you're working with someone that's a little bit more inexperienced, they can actually crimp the pipe just because they don't understand, like, hey, don't crank down on it. With the small nub, it's actually harder to crimp the pipe. Not impossible, just more difficult. A little bit more idiot-proof. Sticking in that same theme, we're going to go with, start using the Husky tape measures. The only reason is they're relatively affordable, but I also like the white. Kind of makes it a little bit easier to see. Yellow's fine, but I mean, the white is kind of nice. And, you know, one side of this tape measure does have the fractions written out. I mean, we are in a day and age where people don't really understand how to read fractions sometimes. So every little bit helps. The same tote as that. Torpedo level. Once again, I have no really preference for torpedo levels. I was at Lowe's, needed one. Klein had one on the shelf. The one thing Klein does make that I really like, that I am more impartial to, is they make a crescent wrench set. Bear with me. A crescent wrench set. And what's nice about them is sometimes it is kind of hard to get crescent wrenches into where you need to get them. But this set from Klein is all like expanded capacity, which is a lot nicer. I've always preferred that. You know, once again, less tools you have to carry. So the expanded jaw capacity really is a lifesaver, in my opinion. But yeah. Then we have some control screwdrivers from Klein. Ugh. Once again, you know, I tend to like the Klein set. The set I have in my other bag for a control screwdriver, my service bag, is like comes in a little black case. It's foldable, interchangeable. It's got the insulated tips in it like these, except it's like 5 or 6 tips in one handle. They didn't have that when I went this time around, and honestly, you only need, I got 2 flat heads, 1 Phillips. For being an install bag, I mean, that's fine. That's all they really need to hook up thermostats and low voltage wires and things like that. Next up, you can never go wrong with a Klein 1101 universal. I normally carry a holster, which is kind of funny. On my tool belt, I carry a flashlight, and then I found a little holster that'll hold an 1101. I think it's made for flashlights, but it works just the same. And then to pair that, to finish out the Lowe's haul, they actually sell these in a kit. It's Klein's insulated toolkit. So we have, I call them snips, linemen's. I got a flathead, Phillips, and the wire strippers. I'm not actually crazy about the wire strippers from Klein. I kind of just ended up with them because they're in the kit I wanted. I actually like the wire strippers from Milwaukee better. I've started using these a lot more. And these are not the 7-in-1s. These are the 6-in-1s. The 6-in-1s have a thinner head that kind of make it a little bit more like needle nose pliers if you need them, which is handy for like if you're fishing wire in the wall or something like that to reach in there and grab it out. Or if we're doing ductless mini split, sometimes when you have to fish the pipe through a tight spot, you can reach in there and like grab the end of it, pull it out. But they make a 7-in-1. I'm not a big fan of the 7-in-1. The head is actually thicker on the 7-in-1s and kind of defeats the purpose of being able to use it as like needle nose pliers. But these two, I get dedicated screwdrivers just because on a lot of equipment, sometimes you can't fit the 11-in-1 in just because of how the tiered down step design of the tool is. And therefore, just a dedicated screwdriver works the best. But moving on, the rest of the Home Depot haul I got, right, is this is a tool I got that I think is going to be interesting to try out. It's Milwaukee's version of electrical lock nut wrenches. I've had the Kleins in the past. I wasn't a big fan of them because they're kind of like offset. These are more like straight into the box. So I think they'll be a little bit easier to use, but time will tell. Typically what I use now, which I'm also adding, is Milwaukee's demo driver, which, you know, a lot of the older guys, and when I was on apprentice, you just had a beater screwdriver, a big flathead, and it was either broken or whatever, and you just used it to smack on. The demo driver is reinforced on the back. It's actually made to be stroke like that, But this is what I use for the lock nuts now. So, I mean, these might work a little bit better. Who knows? But this is a good universal tool. I mean, you can kind of use it for anything and everything. So, another tool add. And then finally, I got 2 more tools coming up. But I like Milwaukee's, I call them channel locks. Milwaukee's channel locks. They come in a 2 kit. You get the small one and the big one. People are always different. My only complaint about them is over time, I guess the adhesive on the grips can wear off and you can actually pull the grips off. But I do like them just better for the end handle design, how it's kind of exposed but it's tapered. You can kind of use it as a pin wrench depending on what you're doing. I mean, I come from more of a commercial background, so using these as like a pin wrench, guide flanges together or line up bolt holes, it's pretty clutch. And you got the smaller baby set. I mean, sometimes you just need a smaller set to get in there. The last tool I've really become kind of crazy about that I've added is I normally carry a pocket knife and all, but with ductless mini splits, sometimes that 14-4 mini split cable that you run for the communication wire can be a little tough to like cut or strip back when you're put into a unit. So Milwaukee has this like little pocket utility knife. It's great because it's like fits in your hand really well, and for me it's a lot easier to strip the wire with this. I don't nick the wires underneath. I cut the jacket back just fine, and then I mean it's got a little like nail puller here, bottle opener if you care about that, and then it's kind of got like a little, they call it a gut hook, but you can strip wire with it, whatnot. Really what I love that for is I hate threads being loose on clothing or bags or stuff like that, so I can cut it without worrying about cutting myself. The only thing I'll probably add to this bag later, that's a consumable that I don't have here now, is Home Depot sells electrical tape. Duh. But it's a little kit. They're like little half-inch thick rolls. They're not full-size roll. I like those because I can carry a lot of different colors for marking stuff or, you know, color coordinating wires. And it doesn't take up as much space as like full-size electrical tape. So I go through a little bit faster, but it's definitely a needed tool. Or I guess a consumable, right? Electrical tape's not really a tool, but... Alright, so I will fit this bag out and then, you know, I'll show you from there. Alright. I got the tool bag fitted out. I figure I'd go to a little POV shot so y'all can get a break from looking at my bald head blinding you and all. So, bag's fitted up. We'll start on the outside pocket. Here, I have the torpedo level, hot stick, pipe reamer, and then in this pocket, I have the tubing cutters. Right? Electrical tape will go there whenever I get it. The other side, the wrenches came with that D-clip, so throwing them on there. The bits, markers, I had some laying around, threw them in there. Start out with the outside pack. This pocket here, baby crescent wrench, baby channel locks, utility knife, my high voltage control screwdrivers. The other reason I hate these is just because there's no lock to keep them closed. So I end up getting a rubber band and keeping them closed with a rubber band. That seems to work pretty well. So they'll just go in that pocket for now. They may move. I may get them out of the bag completely. I don't know. We'll see. This bag is a top open bag, which is kind of nice. I've also tried to over the years, just because there are like 1,000 pockets in here, doesn't mean I have to use every pocket in there. So we have our screwdrivers right here, short and sweet. Channel locks with the second to smallest pair of crescent wrenches there. Big crescent wrench, small crescent wrench. Our demo driver. Our lineman, side cutters, tape measure stored nice away at the bottom. Our Milwaukee 6-in-1 wire strippers. And then these I threw in here. I had them laying around. I have a kit on the install trailer. When we do the mini splits and stuff like that, I like to crimp the fork terminals on. So here I bought an extra set of crimpers. So they'll just live in this bag, and that way no matter who's where, they can just grab the terminal kit and, you know, go from there. You don't have to walk around looking for tools. So, we'll button this baby back up. and move on from there. Tool bag's all fitted out. It's ready to go on the install trailer. Install trailer's not here, it's still on a job, so next time I go to the job or when I bring the install trailer back, this bad boy go on. But until then, everybody, I'll catch you on the next job.